Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for November 27th, 2021, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Take about 3 minutes to imagine all around you are divine beings of light. They are surrounding you in love, empowering thoughts, and absolute prosperity in every form. Breathe deeply for these precious minutes and feel these powerful beings are bathing you in their glorious divine light of love. I think one of the most profound statements that Buddha ever made was master these 3 words, master your thoughts. Now, even though we're all Buddhas, doesn't mean we're all awake. Some of us are awake, some of us are kind of awake, and others are sound asleep. Master your thoughts. There are 1,000 paths to enlightenment and 1,000,000 doors we can walk through to experience this moment as divine. One of these precious doors is not so easy or obvious to see, yet we unconsciously step through it every single day. It is the perpetual swinging door of judgment. We are so often unaware whenever we are passing judgment and oblivious of how it is a secret passageway to the most enlightened and heavenly state of being. No matter if we are conscious human beings or not, the mind is constantly judging ourselves, other people, the world, anything that it can get a hold of. The mind was born with this master-like judgeaholic power. It can judge anything in milliseconds. You may not even have realized this, yet probably in the last 15 minutes, your mind passed 10 judgments on yourself, someone else, or something in the world around you as either good or bad. The judgmental mind is perpetually busy working away at labeling life, and this workaholic is a slippery gremlin to catch. We are so accustomed to the mind judging everything in this life, it's as if we've been soaking our hands in warm water for 25 years and we don't realize that it's completely wrinkled and about to fall off. So just to clarify exactly what judgment is, for me, for many, judgment is the mind labeling something in life as either good or bad, but not both. It is a one-sided viewpoint of existence, which separates and divides. Interestingly, judgment manifests only when we are living up in the head and are disconnected from our heart. When we are living from the heart, the mind cannot judge. How important is that? Impactful. When we are living up in the head and disconnected from our heart, when we are living from the heart, the mind cannot judge. This occurs because the heart is free from duality, and the mind can only exist in duality, seeing black and white. The heart cannot get hooked in whatever the mind believes is only good or only bad. When the heart is leading the way, we are free from the perpetual prison of the judging mind. You see how imperative it is for the civilization to practice moving in the heart and not the mind. When we are to be free from judgment, we must drop out of the head and into the heart. the mind will quiet and become very still. From this space, we can watch our mind close closely and see just how slippery its judgmental habit is. We can see how it tends to avoid what it deems as scary. The mind often believes that if I get what I want, this is good, and then I will be happy. And if I get what I don't want, this is bad, and then I'll be unhappy. The more enlightened path, however, is understanding that in this great divine, supreme, all-intelligent universe, we're going to get it all. We always, always, always get what we want and what we don't want. For example, we might manifest our dream partner or soulmate, only later to realize that they trigger our deepest, darkest issues and childhood insecurities to surface every day. And I know people who have done this. Or perhaps we spend half of our life running in the great societal rat race, being devoted to striving, achieving big, luxurious dreams, and becoming financially free, only to realize later that we missed out on so many beautiful sunsets while we were indoors chasing some fantasy. Life, always both. We get death and birth. We always get both. And this polar opposite is inside everything that exists. The yin is contained within the yang, and the yang within the yin. The dark and the light and the dark. The more often we practice seeing, feeling into the accepting how we always get what we want and what we don't want in this life, the judgmental mind just drops on its own accord. We naturally start living every day in deep harmony with existence. We become vulnerable to existence again. And in this sweet humility, we can feel the greatest perfection of life. We deeply accept that this existence is the expression of the highest intelligence, and that the good and bad judgment plan is the smartest plan available from God to create a spiritual awakening experience inside every being on this earth. And I've challenged people to see if you can find a single situation, person or thing, on this world that is only 100% positive and does not also have the tiniest hidden negative byproduct within it. If you think you found something like a new flower budding or an amazing sunset, just wait and investigate it a bit longer, as both sides will eventually show. There is always another side to the coin. As the flower will one day wither away, and the amazing sunset colors always fade into the darkness. We always get both. The rose always comes with a few thorns, even if they are small thorns. So today is to free yourself from the judgment habit. You can do this. Just start looking deeper into yourselves and accept any judgments you may have. I'm too fat, I'm too short, I'm too ugly, I'm too poor, I'm too dumb, I'm too smart, I'm too much in my head. Welcome all the judgments you have about yourself and just don't reject, avoid, or judge them. See them for what they are. They are one-sided judgments that you have about you. When you can truly see and welcome the judgment, it will have less energy and magnetic pull on you. In a matter of minutes, the contracting hard feeling around the judgmental thought will lessen, drop into stillness, and you will become truly free from it. And as far as this welcoming process works, the secret is moving totally into the experience of judging. When you consciously are feeling only one side of the judgment, awareness grows in you. You cannot fall into that old judgment again so easily next time. You can see just how it impacts your mind, emotions, and heart when you remain in a one-sided experience of life deeply and fully for a long time. Something inside you will soon tire, and then the judgment pendulum just swings to the other side. For example, you may feel and say, I am never good enough. I cannot do anything right. And after welcoming that judgment and feeling for 5 to 10 or even 20 minutes, something in you will exhaust itself. Release the contraction and wake up. The smaller, more enlightened aspect inside each and every one of us will sneak in and perceive that on some level we are doing everything right and are totally good enough. When we welcome judgment, the judgment pendulum soon swings, and this allows us to know what perfect peace feels like. Now, some people may think that always welcoming and acknowledging both the good and bad in life is just some boring, fatalistic, nihilistic, uncreative path that only leads to a state of apathy. Quite the contrary is true. By learning to accept and welcome it all, we find that we are truly okay with everything that is and feel a more spacious quality within ourselves. We feel we have more time to develop our ability to expand consciousness and relax into our lives. From this expanded space, we dramatically increase our manifesting vibration, deepen our state of inner peace, and become a magnet for the most amazing life situations to occur. You will find that the welcoming process is extremely powerful simply because it leaves nothing out. It comes from a deep spiritual place inside each and every one of us that is saying yes to the totality of our existence. We are just not interested in fighting, proving anything, or resisting this life anymore. Instead, we move and feel totally fluid like water without resistance, force, or control. In this state, it's so easy to realize that God is everywhere and in everything. Don't judge a day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. Robert Louis Stevenson. It is this deep, welcoming mind that creates an enlightened mindset where we actually feel, see, and understand the divine perfection of this life. We become more interesting people as we stop wasting our energy trying to negate others, ourselves, or continuously being upset with the way life is. In a mind that is free from all judgments of ourselves and others, we naturally appreciate it all. We can see that the glass is half empty and half full in the same time. We can feel this infinite empty universe all around us, and also sense how the sun is always rising somewhere on the planet, sharing and radiating its own brilliant light. Living in the enlightened mindset is like floating in a sea of orgasm, waves of deep cosmic opening to joy, happiness, appreciation, ecstasy can actually waft through our body at any time. When the mind is not occupied with judgments, we have more energy to make more love, explore our spiritual nature, and taste the freedom that exist at the core of our being. When we can live daily in this enlightened mindset, everything inside us changes. All the previous pain we've been carrying seems to have mysteriously disappeared. We can naturally and fully relax into our divine balanced nature. And what I find is the most interesting aspect of all is that this judgment-free, enlightened mind is our most natural state. It is already inside us and exists at the core of who we are, at the seed of our consciousness itself. We can only experience it directly, however. And when we have respect and reverence for the perfect balance that exists in everything, when we acknowledge the divine balance within every situation, person, accident, belief, memory, and atom throughout the universe, we can open up to it. The more acceptance we have that there's always good in the bad and bad in the good, something deeper inside us lets go, and we can finally relax into our deepest spiritual experience of life. When the mind calls off the search for defining and redefining what's good and bad, we have an infinite reservoir of creative energy to surrender fully to our soul. This enlightened life is not just about cultivating a deeper relationship with our minds. It's about getting beyond the mind. When we master our minds, we no longer live in fear. When the mind falls from its altar, we rise to the summit. As we learn how to drop into a perpetual state of surrender, allowing the greater intelligence of the universe to run the entire show, we see how every precious moment in this life has this bigger universal force behind it all. In seeing this, the mind totally gives up, and we realize that we have become the perfection that exists within everything. With enough awareness, we can totally stop the judgmental mind habit and wake up from the addiction. Because this is an addiction. Then we'll know what real freedom is like. And nothing else will satisfy more than this freedom. This true freedom is free from all forms of pain. It is the greatest experience of this life. This means the mind can slip back into clinging to delusion and desire. And you don't. The mind might crave, whine, and yearn to be free, yet you know that you are the one behind it who is actually already free. You remain the watcher, deeply detached and liberated from the mind's antics. It is the greatest blessing, deeply eternal love of all when you realize that you are not your mind. The more we practice welcoming judgments, the easier it becomes to see the mind and how to be free from it. When we can always see the good, the bad, and the balanced meeting of the two, then the struggle of this life doesn't matter so much anymore. The mind soon gets trained to only see balance and perfection. It automatically observes how the good is in the bad and the bad is in the good, and how these two worlds always collide, and there is nothing left but freedom. There is just the pure observer, watching and witnessing it all. Rely on the essence of your pure wisdom mind, not on judgmental perceptions. Rely on the spirit and meaning of the teachings, not on the words. The enlightened, judgment-free mind is always available, shows up when we release the need to be right, and instead creates more room to be happy. Happiness through inner peace becomes the goal. Instead of striving and focusing on surviving this life, with inner peace as the priority, the dualistic mind soon becomes free from attachment, desire, resistance, and contraction. We surrender to the heart and can actually feel deeply okay with whatever manifests and does not manifest in our lives. This enlightened mindset is not hard to achieve. It just takes the most deeply rooted devotion to ourselves. We must be willing to know ourselves intimately and never stay or stray from exploring further about who and what we are. This exploration leads us to a profound honoring of the sacredness in all things in this life. We start honoring that this balanced state of perfection is everywhere. We have nothing to complain about or try to change in ourselves anymore. Instead, we start worshiping everything around us. We see everything and everyone as the divine in physical form. We bow down to this very ordinary life and call it God. We look into a blade of grass and understand how it's just as sacred and important as our entire galaxy. To remain in a judgment-free, enlightened mind every day, we must choose to look at what cannot be looked at and reveal in being totally real with our pain. If we wish to remain liberated, we must be willing to see where we are still in prison, fighting to get out. As long as we are fighting, we are still not truly free. So we must choose to always be aware of the slippery mind. We must never allow the sneaky judgments to take over us again. We must be 100% creatively devoted to continuously being awake, aware, and ready to step beyond a seemingly safe, judgmental world. We must become the black sheep of this world if we are to be truly free. We cannot ever agree with anyone who says that some things are just 100% bad and nothing good at all will ever come out of it. We must stop all movement whenever any judgment arises. We must choose to watch our thoughts and beliefs vigilantly. Be totally aware whenever the mind starts believing in some final truth. We must do everything we can so that the ego cannot harden and cling to any opinions formed or thoughts containing right and wrong beliefs. This path takes some serious devotion. Blaming holds you in the energy of the duality of victim and abuser. Forgiving is a direct way of reclaiming your power and freeing yourself to love beyond judgment, grace alone. Some people will tell you how this universe is not already in a perfect design. They might try to make you believe that you should only get what you want and nothing else. This seems like the ideal situation to be in, right? Well, the spiritual awakening process is always much deeper and much more complex than it appears to be. If the universe was set up this way, the great mystery would be gone. If we should never know what a block, problem, pain, or failure was like, we would be without direction, feel perpetually numb, have no longing to dig deep inside our souls to find our life mission, creativity, and spiritual path. This universe is already set up in the most intelligent manner. It's designed so that we can get a good, solid taste of suffering, anxiety, or inner turmoil and use it to awaken with. Whenever we go unconscious and forget the divine, all-intelligent universe is everywhere around us, we instantly suffer. Whenever we allow the mind to form any judgment and register only one side of reality, our problems begin. The universe, this universe, loves us so much that it doesn't want us to live in any lie. So it wakes up with a little stress, anxiety, or emotional pain. If we don't stop and drop our judgments, another level of suffering will soon manifest. This pain is our most perfect and most loving teacher. And by welcoming it fully, we are led back to our real state of love, enlightenment, and freedom. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on your heart disappears. All the fear of death, of life, of love, of everything disappears. One starts living with a very light weight or almost no weight. So weightless, one can fly in the open sky. Osho. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies. Let everything that you're carrying around, only you know what you're carrying around. No one else does. Just you do. Whatever it is that body of yours is carrying around, drop it. Let it go. If it causes you stress, fear, anxiety, pain, worry, hatred, anger, greed, envy, revenge, let it go. In fact, walk through it. Face it. Look at it. And walk through it. Let it pass through you. This is how you begin to relax your body. Drop the weight. You know, some of us are carrying a yoke on our shoulders. We are also carrying a ball and chain on each ankle. And then sometimes we have a strap around our chest and we're trying to pull an airplane, a jetliner at the same time. So imagine that. How many people in this life picture them that way? They're carrying and dragging and grimacing all of this conjured up by the mind and ego crap. And we get, unfortunately, we get so used to it that it's kind of like a comfort area. What would I do without worry, stress, and fear? Isn't it amazing? Some people are afraid not to have it. And where does that fear come from? The ego mind. Ego mind wants you to have it all the time. So you can picture, if you're visual, through your heart, mind, motion picture, you can picture yourself a hot air balloon, and you look at all these, they're tied at the ends as little sandbags. And they keep the basket on the ground. And in order for it to go up, you've got to drop that weight so it will float up and go higher. But a lot of us will sit in that basket and we'll stare at those bags and we'll just keep staring at those bags. And we'll look at and figure, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we going up into the sky? But those bags will continue to sit there. It's like all the things that we absorb and carry with us in these bodies that cause us stress, fear, anxiety, worry, pain, sorrow. Do they serve you anything? Well, sure, you experience it. But after that, why would you carry them? You wouldn't, would you? It's a habit that we have. All of us. We carry this stuff even though it doesn't do anything. It's already expended itself. This is about freeing the mind. This is about you understanding who and what you are. It is a judgment. It's just watching. Now, to truly go into the body's relaxation, we concentrate on our breath. Easy in through the nose and easy out through the mouth. And our breath is divine perfection. divine positive energy. The soul enters the body, powers the body. Lungs begin to operate, start producing oxygen, sustain the body that houses the kingdom of God. That's divine. So once you concentrate on your breath, and it's easy in, easy out, you focus only on the breath, you go into a whole other space. You're in a relaxed position, focused on the breath, in the now. The breath is the now. And all the noise and the mind chatter that we all have 24/7 is gone. It's not there. Because we've left the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind alone. And so we're up on a balcony watching, looking down, watching. And you'll know when your body relaxes, because it'll almost feel like it's so light that it floats. And you're in this beautiful void, in the middle of raging storm all around you, and you're at complete peace. Absolute gratitude. Divine, deep, pure, eternal love. And that is our natural state of being. Now, we know that these bodies aren't ours. We're not the body. We are not the name, the character, the personality, the clothes, the belongings. We are the God within the body. Pure consciousness. So, doesn't it make sense that when we look at these bodies, we aren't judging them. We're in deep gratitude for them. When we look at them, we notice that there's like 7 lights going up the spine, up into the top of the head, to the tailbone to the top of the head. What are these lights? Well, they're called chakras. Chakra means wheel. These are wheels of light, every different color, and they're spiritual etheric energy. Now, the gods that we are spiritual etheric energy. So we flow through those chakras, those wheels of light, effortlessly. And that connects us to this entire body. On it, in it, above it, and below it. Everything. All the emotions, all the organ functions, all the blood flow, right down to the quantum core. Now you imagine that when we're fully conscious, what will take place? You'll be able to heal the body that you're in instantaneously, without any lag time, because you know exactly where the area is that needs to be tended to. And yet you're an omnipotently powerful being, so put it together. Now, we know that the body is supported by the soul of the mother. And then when the body is disconnected from the mother, we enter the body. Then we take over the power from there. And everything is up and running. Now we know that the soul, the God that we are, is heaven on earth. We know the body is earth. We've got heaven on earth. Soul, body. And we also know we're consciously aware. What are we consciously aware of? We are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and eternal, pure of the purest pure. Love, gratitude, and peace. we're consciously aware that every step we take on this planet, we're creating paradise, literally. We also shine our light, our God force, love, light energy that's deep within us, which is pure, deep, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. And this is a God planet paradise that glows with billions of gods housed within physical forms. Many consciously aware. Now, if you were to kind of, take a little jaunt outside the planet, out into space, say a couple 100 miles, and you looked at the planet, you would see that it glowed. There wouldn't be any place on the planet that didn't glow. So it almost looks like one ball of light, white, deep, eternal light. And you notice that all the lights around it in the universe dim in comparison to it. Because your light, all of our light is so bright, there isn't anything to compare to it. Now, we all reminisce. We all have memories, and the memories are fun. We visit them. Things spark them, songs, an old journal or pictures or whatever. And it's fun to do that. We even visit some of our experiences that we didn't really care about, that we weren't really happy about. But we go into that past, we go into that library, we reminisce, we feel good, we leave. Now you can witness, you look, and it's very easy to tell. There's three pathways. There's one on the left, one in the middle, one on the right. The one on the left is the past, and you look at this golden, the trees are all golden everywhere, and the differentiation in color is this beautiful bright green grass that goes down this path. You can visualize that through your heart, mind, motion picture. And it looks pretty worn. And the one on the right, which is the future, it looks pretty worn too. And the one in the center, the present, the now, it looks like it's hardly ever been used. So some of us will end up staying in that past so long that we bring the past into a future that doesn't exist. We create that future from that past, and we relive that past in that future. That's why a lot of people will say no matter what we do, we always end up here. There's others of us that will go into the future. I don't think any of us are exempt. I don't believe so. I think we all do it. I believe we all do it on occasion. Sometimes I don't even think it's consciously aware. But we'll go into a future that doesn't exist because we create the future in the now, and we'll ask ourselves questions. We'll ask others to answer them for us. Now, when am I going to have enough money to do the things I want to do? When am I going to be healthy enough so I can be happy? When am I going to meet the right person? When am I going to have the right job? I mean, it's endless. It's absolutely endless. And then we try to find the answers, and we psychics and mediums, whatever, so card readers, so that you can. I want them to tell me the truth. I want them to tell me about my future. And all along, the only thing that any of us have ever had is the now. Everything's in the now. Past, present, the future. You would think that center path would be worn as well, but it isn't. And see, we have over 60,000 plus thoughts a day that each of us generate, 24/7. We have tens of millions of thoughts that float by like clouds in the sky, but they're not ours. They're programmed thoughts. There's where things get a little tricky. But in the now, it is our saving grace to always focus to be in the now. And you know the difference between the two. So this is important, to be always gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and in 24/7 deep eternal gratitude. So that when you grab onto one of those thoughts, because we all done it, none of us are exempt, one of those clouds passing by and we, grab onto it and we float off, we just would say to ourselves, okay, so I've floated off. No, not an issue. I'll focus on my breath, my divine positive energy, and I'll be in the now. And it happens every time, without fail. You will be in the now. And then again, the noise chatter is gone, and you're just floating downstream in the boat with no oars, not thinking a thing. We have everything we have ever needed and ever will need on this endless journey. We just forgot where to look. Now, we know that we have parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, not the bodies, that are asleep. No matter what you do, those parts don't wake up. They'll wake up in their own time. So they're with us always, but they don't participate in anything that we participate in, such as this meditation. Now, we have other parts of ourselves, obviously, that are consciously aware, that are awake. And this involves all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. This is the Archangels, the Cherubim, the Seraphim, the Archetypes, Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. We're all gathered here. And the numbers are mind-boggling. One gigaplex will fill this entire universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. They come in trillions of gigaplexes from trillions of universes from every direction. And they're all with us. Now, light energy beings on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, because of the eyes we have, we only see 1% of what is. So a lot of these life beings, we just don't see. But we do participate with some of them on a daily basis. Fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and the minotaur. You drink water every day. Water's magic, one of the elementals. You use fire to build things with the wood. The fire keeps you heated, warm. The earth sustains you, feeds you. These are highly interactive magics. And we do interact on a daily basis. Now, the off-worlders, galactics and celestials, we're only familiar with just a small group of them, and over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. And this group that we're familiar with are the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Feline, the Zeta Reticuli, the Anunnaki, the Nords, the Grades, the Draco, the Reptilian. The Golden Pyramid, and the Avian. Now, this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution and our enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now, the Archangels, they're a civilization that vibrates at a different frequency than we do. This is why we don't see them like we see each other. But we do meet with them. We do interact with them. A lot of times we don't even know it. And when you do, it's not usually when you're interacting with them in the moment. It usually dawns on you afterwards. And you say to yourself, that was an angel. There was no other way. That was an angel. And then you feel a little bliss bubble up from your center. Now, they have a message. They've been sending this message out to us for many lifetimes in many, many, many different ways. And what it is that isn't it absolutely magna glorious, stupendous, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? Because as gods, see, and this is why we get so attached to these bodies, we don't taste, we don't smell, we don't feel, we don't laugh, we don't cry, we don't smile. So we get in these bodies and we have all those sensations, all of those experiences. So doesn't it make sense that we pay a lot of attention to these bodies? We take care of them the best we can so that we can stay in them as long as we can with a high quality of life? I'd say that's pretty good that we all feel that way. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time into tens of thousands or tens of millions because their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And if you really, you want to ask them to do so, within seconds they will. Tens of thousands, tens of millions. And you'll feel bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they have mastered ascending into physical. Out of physical, hold pure consciousness, God form. We are mastering physical. We have ascended into physical or mastering physical, creating our experiences to perfect our creation. And we're all gathered, so to speak, arm in arm, hand in hand, hundreds of millions of us from every direction in all existence, many consciously aware, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in everything. All that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This circle of light emanates from deep within each and every one of us. It is the God source, the kingdom of God. The God. And this light is of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, purest of the purest, eternal love. And this light is flooding this planet 24/7. Picture yourself as this light beacon, all of us, sending out 360 degrees this powerful, massive body of light, embracing everything, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, nonstop. You can feel the calmness, the gentleness, the ease, and the deep eternal love. This light is so bright that it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1 billion trillion suns even to come close to it. And we begin to descend above the planet, and we're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. It's everywhere. And it's like a massive super laser light show, a grand finale fireworks, and this huge ballroom mirror globe reflecting everything except 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. Picture that. And so we're so curious, we go to the point of reflection, and we see these little tiny microscopic mirrors, perfectly etched. And we go within them, and we discover that all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, is learning. We are learning from each other every split second. We're either learning or teaching, teaching or learning, or both. Someone comes into your life, might be for a few seconds. They're showing you something. Bug in a rug, fly on the wall. They're teaching us. It doesn't matter how life is housed. What matters is that it is life. It is the God. And we view it and we learn from it. Isn't that amazing? We are constantly gaining experience and understanding and learning and teaching. All synergistic, all of us together, all together, always teaching and learning, learning and teaching. It is magnificent. We are met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met by the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind each and every single one of us that we are imbued from head to toe, inside and out, 24/7, eternally, with this white fire armor. And it emanates from the God source, the God within each and every single one of us. And it is of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest, purest eternal love. Now, nothing can touch us, harm us, invade us, manipulate us. Nothing can diminish the power of this white fire armor, deceive it. No demon possession, no attachments, no lower dark matter, survival amount of frequencies. Because they know if they get too close, they're vaporized. They can't be in the higher vibrational frequency. So we are protected always. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequencies low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through anger, greed, fear, revenge, manipulation, dishonesty, stress, hurried, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow a lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then you have possibilities of demon possession and attachment, and many other things. If you do decide to do this, you are immediately met with a double column of light. The first part of this column is the purple transmuting flame. We created this part of the column to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness, where they are no more. We are then met with the violet ray. This is the column that we created to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the sun. The gods within these bodies. We are the sunlight. We are the rain and the rainbows. We are the sunrises and the sunsets. We're the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the clouds in the sky, the soils, the trees, the forests, the animals. We are everything. Everything is us. So the next time you do see, say, a rainbow or a starry-lit night sky, ocean front, mountain view, sunset, sunrise, and you look at it, we normally look at that and we say, isn't that absolutely beautiful, spectacular? And see, we're missing because that is the God that I am. That sunset is me. That sunrise is me. I am part of it. It is part of me. I contain its essence. I am the God. I am love. I am gentleness. I am kindness. I am gratitude. I am peace. I am the God. That is the God that is within me. We continue to ascend above the planet. And as we do, some of us decide to step out of our physical bodies and hover effortlessly above them, if we're carrying physical form. And why do we do this? Well, because we can. And we come into contact with this massive crystalline light tower, larger than this solar system and beyond. We created it. And in the center of the column, we see this oblong sphere. And in the center of the oblong sphere, we see this golden ball of light. And it is surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light. And they're all sending out, it's like this electrified, sparkling, glittering mist. And it enters us, and we absorb it into us, and it is like a warm embrace that never ends. Now, the golden white bowl of light, we discover, is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, peace, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, well-being, tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great abundance. It's unending. And then we discover that it is a reflection of the gods that we are. Now, at the top of this crystalline light tower, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, as it's doing right now, as it's flooding us all, saturating us all with pure, deep, eternal love. It never ends. We are drops of this golden ocean, and we also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is a drop, drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We created this sphere moving towards 4 years ago. It holds almost 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion every day for almost 4 years. hundreds of millions of us, on and off world, with the highest of the highest high of intents, the full liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, this now. You feel that. You can see it with through your heart, mind's motion picture. All of us gathered, because we're all part of each other. And if you ever, these meditations, they don't wane, dissipate, or disintegrate. They do the opposite. They continue to intensify and they continue to expand. You can plug into them anytime you want. Go someplace quiet where you aren't going to be disturbed. Focus on your breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and you'll experience all of these meditations. It's flooding everything on this planet, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. And that's why this sphere can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. Recognize the sacred aspect in everyone you meet. Feel that underneath their ego trip. And the hurricane of thoughts is a divine being waiting to be seen. Know that you are completely perfect, whole, and at peace at the core. Just don't think you are. Know you are. At your core, you have the power to experience bliss anywhere and transcend any suffering that may occur. Be this divinity. It's as simple and sweet as recognizing that you are pure being. I'll join you in meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out the mouth. Move easily and slowly. The inner path of healing you is the only way to discover total freedom. Explore what it's like to choose to heal yourself everywhere you go and whomever you are with. Make the commitment to be with you today and find inner peace with what you cannot. This is your special sacred healing day. Wherever you go today, pretend that you are continuously merging with this loving energy and healing experience. Stay connected throughout the day by saying, I am whole, healed, and complete. Focus on receiving the most nourishing, peaceful, and healing energy you can fathom. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. We will return here Sunday, November 28th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.